There was a hush, a hall of life. Inside the Zarth Dominion's Supreme Tribunal, the galaxy's first courthouse, a regal glow reflected off rows of crystal and tall obsidian spires as light shimmered through violet prisms. The audience of alien delegates included broad-chested warlords and feathery-faced Vernori diplomats. Even two hooded monks from Teleri hovered a few feet above the ground in silent condemnation. And in the center. A 12-year-old child from Earth stood, trembling, barefoot, simply dressed in cotton. His cheeks were dusty. His shirt was wrinkled, stained at the hem. A steel tether gleamed around his wrist, faint crimson, the Dominion's way of marking. A prisoner forbidden to speak or plead unless addressed. He shook. He tried not to cry. A Dominion justice slithered proudly to the stage, seething with theatrical righteousness. It unfurled the scroll of charges: espionage procedure 33-7B, violation of planetary access laws, and deliberate cultural pollution. The crowd whispered. The child had wandered into a sacred excavation site unauthorized. While visiting a school friend, he picked up a rock. It turned out to be a holy artifact. He had asked, foolishly, why it had holes in it, and now he faced vaporization. The Dominion's elegant name for death by orbital reduction. In the diplomatic box, a few humans sat silently. All wore black with silver accents, except one. Ambassador Charles Wren. He was graying at the temples. Thin-rimmed glasses sat on his nose. His hands folded calmly in his lap, peaceful, still, Teleri priests. Retired teachers watched him. Charles showed no anger, no protest. Do they always use children for bait? He asked softly, adjusting his cuff. Or are we just lucky today? His assistant blinked. Sir, nothing, just watching. The judge lifted its voice. The Terran has not expressed remorse. His ignorance is evidence, not innocence. The gallery chuckled. The Terran's always so incapable of respecting borders, and so, by Dominion Protocol Article 17C, Subset 4, punishment would be immediate. A chime rang across the galaxy. Children froze mid-lunch. Satellites blinked alive in 1,000 systems. Farmers on X5 left their stations. Pirate relays hijacked galactic feeds. All to broadcast the execution of a child. The justice didn't flinch, but the boy, he looked up. I just wanted to understand, he whispered. A glowing sphere descended. A clawed hand lifted. The boy didn't beg. He looked at Charles. Charles gave him a smile, gentle, fatherly, the kind you give your child before a hard test. Then the light swallowed the boy. The justice turned away, smug. The hall fell silent. And then Charles Wren's voice rang out. We've heard you. He pressed play. A clear recording, powerful. He stood and faced the delegates. The boy's name was Elliot, he said. You'll remember him. He liked maps, old coins, and things that didn't make sense. He gave the Teleri priests a respectful nod. Then left. They'll write a poem, a Dominion diplomat muttered. Back in his quarters, Charles removed his jacket, rolled up his sleeves. Opened a plain mahogany box. No antenna. No screen. Just a single blue light. It pulsed. And across obscure corners of the galaxy, people paused. A baker closed his shop. A schoolteacher handed off her class. A janitor pressed his palm to a wall in the palace's underside. The galaxy had always been patient. Charles poured a small glass of bourbon. 8 minutes, he whispered. No speeches. No fleets. He tapped a control pad. A black screen flickered. Then white text. Thank you for the clarity. Human Protocol 44 initiated. Some laughed. A bluff, they said. Then systems began to fail. Dominion warships folded inward. A Zarth newscaster tried to mock it until static silenced her mid-sentence. Across every frequency, a quiet old Earth piano tune played. A Teleri priest stared forward. It has begun? A whisper followed from an abandoned Terran moon. You will remember him. By midnight, 46 Dominion systems collapsed under internal stress. Not destroyed? Disconnected. No flames? No fleets, just silence. At the Galactic Summit, the Council demanded an explanation. Charles walked to the platform, hands steady. Voice calm, I just wanted you to understand something. And when the countdown hit 0, everything stopped. We're not after your ships. He said, not your leaders. We're coming for your pride. And then he left. Back on Asinine at a diplomatic banquet, Charles mingled politely. Delegates feigned cheer. Azarthian snake-like diplomat hissed, no hard feelings, I hope. Charles lifted his drink. We prefer our mourning to be instructive. Nearby, the Akron Confederacy envoy muttered, humans are sentimental. Charles tapped a cumlink hidden in his cuff. A piece of cheese chirped quietly. He approached the central podium, cleared his throat. Thank you for your hospitality, he began softly. When I was 12, I snuck into a neighbor's greenhouse. I liked the smell of tomatoes. The farmer caught me and told me if I wanted to understand why it mattered, I had to put my hands in the dirt. I am not a farmer, another diplomat snapped. Charles nodded. No, but that man taught me more about justice than any tribunal here ever could. He stepped down. We're not here for revenge, he whispered. Just the correction. Back at Dominion Command, minor navigational. Ghost-haunted ships, sensor errors, unexplained resets. Coordinates erased, not offset. One tech gulped. It's not malfunction, it's interlude. Delegates made small talk, smiled over tea. But behind the veneer. They're smiling, a priestess whispered. Yes, her partner replied. But they've stopped blinking. Charles across the room sipped tea with 3 children. When asked by a GNN reporter what Earth's official response was, he said simply, our children are off limits. Does that mean you won't go to war? She asked. He smiled faintly. We never start wars, we just finish them. Sipped his bourbon while sitting in silence, then opened his window. To let in the stars, the galaxy had started to change. The Spectre's stars stopped flickering and vanished. Protocol wasn't a weapon. It was a diagnostic, and the Dominion had simply failed the test. Half a dozen outposts would be silent by daybreak. Not from violence. There'd be no screaming, no panic. Their people would simply cease to exist. Somewhere on Asinine, someone saw the lights go down and came back with a story. After a pause, an elderly voice echoed from the shadows of the summit chamber. A Telari priest stood and warned, humans are the only species in this room? That ice tried to kill every day as they evolved. You made a mistake thinking the fire in them was kindness. You mistook survival for submission. He turned slowly to Cole. Earth means to cleanse the Dominion. A cold wind moved through the chamber as the priest laughed and walked away. Charles stood there. No podium. No theatrics. Just words. You should have looked closer. We offered you coffee. A silence fell. Our history is more than guns. We brought you Shakespeare, jazz, the internet, black comedy, and air fryers. He smirked. Did you really think we made it through all that because we were kind? No one replied. They couldn't. Across the Dominion, silent red signals danced across forbidden frequencies. Civilian drone clusters disappeared during commutes, and Earth simply claimed it had sent a message 8 minutes ago to every system in the galaxy. 4 words. Extinction, silence, peace, conflict. They were the options. And the Dominion had chosen. There was no explosion, no flare, just a pause. Then everything changed. No battleships, no march, no glorious declaration. Just silence. In Zarth, the Dominion's capital, people looked up. The stars were bright, too bright, and then they blinked in ways they never had before. Some stopped blinking entirely. Technicians in control vaults swore under their breath. Scans returned static. 12 systems went dark, not destroyed, just gone. They didn't even realize their own networks were missing. In the command vault stood a hulking brute of scales and synthetic bone. Marshal Gretha. His fists were behind his back. Sir, an operator whispered. The tones? They've stopped bouncing. There's nothing there. In the outer rim, a Dominion freighter drifted in eerie silence. Scans pulsed into an asteroid field. Nothing returned. Instead, the ship's AI whispered, system unreachable terrain. It wasn't a fault. It was a message. When the Earth Spectre Armada appeared at the edge of known space. It bore no flags. No names on their hulls, just matte black dreadnoughts, shaped like knives. No light, no sound. No crew, only purpose. They didn't target ships. They targeted biospheres, agriculture, weather systems, oxygen rings. They didn't kill people. They unraveled their suns. On Calvex, a Dominion colony of 17 million, the winds changed. Black pollen drifted, and not poison but healing microorganisms, nanoseeded to change plant DNA. Hours later, the forest caught fire. On another world, rain turned to acid fog, not by chemical, by memory. Earth hadn't struck with force. It struck with knowledge, dominion. Weather regulators, built from stolen Terran designs, sang Earth's song, and fire rained on ASA 9. Emergency systems shut down. Council chambers locked. And in the middle of it, Charles Wren sat. Legs crossed, writing. A carry envoy reached toward him. Charles looked up, calm, cold. "They're not dogs," he said softly. "Call them off," the envoy whispered. Earth wanted peace. Charles looked him dead in the eyes. Earth asked for peace. He paused. "You promised something else." The lights flickered. Then died. Only the floor strips glowed blue. Steel groaned. Buildings collapsed, not from attack but from silence. Old Terran code whispered through long-dead systems. Giving new instructions, and the Dominion? It vanished. No battles, no flames. Just ERAS, Edo star charts blanked, libraries wiped. Whole. Civilizations. Forgotten. Back in the chamber, someone whispered, "Who does that?" No one answered. Because Earth didn't build weapons that couldn't become gardens. And Charles? He stood at the viewport, watching. His image. Older than the day before. An aide entered quietly. "Sir, what should we tell the council?" Charles didn't look back.